United Speed. You are watching Turbo Time. Let's take off and go. So I want to start by first saying, if you guys haven't got some of this dope merch yet, let us know. We'll be glad to get you some. Leave a comment down below. We'll have our website going up here pretty soon. Hopefully this week, we should be getting all of our finalized paperwork in this week from, the government office. So, our EIN number and everything else to actually fully make it a business and everything else. But yeah, let us know. We'll be glad to get you some. So I want to tell you guys basically what Turbo Time is. So what we're trying to do is, since the cars that we're talking about right now aren't really out yet, we really want to do a virtual review of the car, of what we think it's going to be like, and then when the car actually does come out, actually realistically in real life review the car and basically compare it to what we thought it was going to be like compared to what it actually is like. So our first car today, we're going to talk about the 2021 Nissan 400Z Proto, and I'm actually excited for this car. A lot of you guys know that I'm like pure musclehead car, V8 raw power, like rear wheel drive, manual transmission, everything else. And basically that's what this car is. Minus having a V8. That's literally what this car is. What I want to first do is talk about the styling, because the styling, I know from a lot of you guys, it's very iffy with a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys like it, a lot of you guys don't. And actually to me, it's more of a retro style car, and I love that. It really brings back, the previous, 240Zs, 260Zs. Actually the front grille, the front bumper itself honestly reminds me of a 350Z when they first came out, with that rectangular front opening grille. I actually like the way the car looks. It has that Datsun Fairlady Z, slope back rear roof. And it actually looks very old school in my opinion. Like I never would have thought that about Nissan, about a car actually looking decent, like straight from Nissan. And honestly, I would buy one. Like I said, it's very old school. It does come with a manual transmission. It's a very retro styled car. So what retro styling basically is where the car looks like a classic car, but it has all the modern updates in it. And so again, this car literally looks like an updated, Fairlady 240ZX. Fairlady 240Z. And that says a lot about it. I'll have my notes right here, so I'm gonna keep, referring to my notes as well too. But the taillights itself on the new 400Z are actually homage to the Fairlady Z300ZX. And one of my old friends used to have a 300ZX, and it was very. It's a driver's oriented car. And so if the new 400Z is anything like that, I know for a fact that I would love it. It didn't really have that much power, but around the corners, it was an absolute blast to take around the corners. Literally, you had that naturally aspirated 6-cylinder, straight inline 6, and it literally was just a very surreal experience to drive. With that being said as well too, it did have some little quirks about it also. Like for instance, his was an older one also, but it really wouldn't go into third gear that well either. But it was an experience, and it was raw to drive, and that's what I love about it. Regarding back to this one also, like I said, to me, it looks really good. And I mean, I usually don't say that a lot about foreign cars. Cause Nissan came out with some pretty ugly cars, in its time. We had the Nissan Cube, the Nissan Versa. They really weren't designed at all. But this car actually, you can really tell that they had a passion just for going out and basically letting their imaginations run free with this car. So as far as going on to performance wise, now there's a lot of rumors out there still. So what a lot of people think is it could either have a detuned version of the GTR motor, which I don't think it will because of the price point that it's in. Now keep in mind, this car is going to stay in between the $40,000 and $50,000 mark. The GTR is a $100,000 car, and I mean, yeah, you have other aspects to the GTR besides just the motor, but I just don't think that it will have a GTR motor in it. What I do think, and what a lot of people think it will have, is either a detuned version for the base model, a detuned version of the Q50, Q60 3-liter motor, V6 motors, with the twin turbos being on it, I do believe that they are going to come out with like a performance version, if you will, that has the upgraded 400 horsepower Q50S Red Sport and Q60S Red Sport motor. The 400Z, in my opinion, the 400, honestly, I strongly think it's a little hint towards the horsepower it will potentially have, because I don't really just see them adding that 400 for no reason at all. So I really think that 400 mark will be the potential of the horsepower it will have from the factory. Obviously, you guys can go ahead and modify after that, but from the factory, I do believe that like a performance version will have that 400 plus horsepower mark, just to give it a little bit more, like, I guess, pep in its step for a lot of people who like performance cars. Now, going on to it as well too, again, this car is literally meant to compete against the BMW Z4, aka the Toyota Supra, the new Supra. And I honestly think that the new 400Z will be a lot better than the Supra is, because to me the new Supras, and a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying this, the Mark IV Supras are all overrated in my opinion. It's just because they were slow from the factory. I mean, I'm not saying they're slow, but unless you modify them, they're not really all it's cracked up to be. I really think that the new 400Z will be a much more driver's oriented car because of that manual transmission. Obviously, the Toyota isn't offering the Supra with the manual transmission. It's all in automatic right now. However, Toyota will be coming out eventually with a smaller motor. I guess I assume like a 2-liter version of it, which is going back and forth. They may put a manual in, they may not. We'll have to find out and see exactly what's going to happen with that. But it is meant to go up against the new Supra, and after driving a few older Datsuns and Fairlady Zs, I really think that this 400 will actually be a much better car than the Supra is, as far as driver oriented, as far as performance oriented, everything. Because to me, it's a better all around car. And again, I mean, to me, it also sort of looks better than the new Supra too. Now, I will say this: if Toyota came out with that the concept car they had, I can't remember what it's called at the top of my head right now, I'm sorry, but the concept car they had roughly about 6-7 years ago that was supposed to be the Supra, then it might have been a whole different story. But as far as right now, the Supra just really isn't a spectacular car in my opinion. And that's why I'm saying the new 400 be a much better comparison and a much better competition for the Supra. Now, obviously, we all love aftermarket, support mods, customizing your car, modifying your cars. Hell, I have a fully built, heavily modified Camaro SS. A lot of my friends drive heavily modified cars as well. And thinking about it and seeing, how the 350Z, 370Z market was going with aftermarket support and still is going with aftermarket support, I really think that this will be a car that everybody wants to modify. I've seen renderings, some really dope renderings, might I add, of a wide body comparison, a wide body rendering, I'm sorry, and they look really good. Like it made me want to basically deplete my entire bank account and just go and just buy one immediately. Like, they look absolutely stunning, and the way the car looks the stock wise right now, it looks absolutely stunning. Honestly, my favorite part are the wheels and the tire lettering. I don't know why, but that is what really draws me to that car. It's like Nissan knew that Nissan knows what their target audience is, and it's people like me that want to go out, have fun with the car, modify the car, and they're really pushing that about the car, and that's what I love about it. Like I said, those tailoring it's out of this world in my opinion. Like I said, and having that slope back roof line, it really takes you back to, again, the old Fairlady Zs, and for a lot of you muscle car buffs, it takes you back to the Mustang fastbacks of the 60s and early part of the 70s. And as soon as you guys see this in person, I really want to see if it has that same, I guess, capture that it has on pictures and in video. And a lot of you guys know that concept cars usually don't look the same at all as the production cars do, but this car, I think is very close to production, number one. Number two, I really think that they wouldn't have put this concept out if it wasn't gonna look anything like it. And that's why I really think that this will be such a good car to buy, A, and number two, this is a really cool car to have fun with, basically. So going back on pricing, again, this is literally meant to compete against the new Supras, and the Z4s, I guess, but the Z4 is more of a luxury version of the Supra, if you really ask me. But it's meant to compete against the Supras. Now, the Supras are costing anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000 plus. The 400Z, they said it is not going to go past the 50 grand as far as, you know, starting out wise, and which that's like the perfect like market and the perfect price range for a car like this. Because if you think about it, you have also, you know, the Porsche 718s, you have obviously the Supra, the Z4s, which both the cars are more expensive than the 400Zs. Now, again, like I said, the 400Z isn't out yet, so I don't know exactly, you know, how it drives. I've driven, you know, Porsches before, and they all, the ones that I've driven feel the same, which is why I'm not really a big Porsche fanatic. But I've ridden in two Supras now, and it's just, yes, they're quick, but they're not. I think people have overrated it too much to where I thought it would be a lot better than what it was. But I do believe that the 400Z will be, you know, a perfect car for people that A, don't really necessarily like the Supra, but want to feel A, like they have a pretty cool car, which is a cool car in my opinion, and also a car that they can, you know, easily modify. Because again, if they do use that Q50S, Q60S, you know, motor, it will be, the aftermarket support for it will be, you know, pretty, like, it'll be out there basically. Every company as of right now does a lot of aftermarket support with those two motors anyway, so it will basically be a easily modifiable car. So again, like I said, it should start in between the $40,000 and $50,000 range. Obviously, you know, dealer markups, which I always leave out of these scenarios anyway because that's just on the dealer. They're going to obviously jump up the price, but from the factory, it shouldn't cost any more than $50,000. Now, my thoughts, my entire, you know, thoughts on this car is that A, it's gonna be a badass car. Like, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be such a good car. Like I said, manufacturers are starting to either limit or no longer offer the manual transmission. So having a new car that offers you a manual transmission, which I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it'll even be offered in an automatic. I think it's gonna be a strict manual transmission. I said, correct me if I'm wrong, because I couldn't really find any information about an automatic variant of it, but it's gonna be a car that literally is just a manual transmission. As we all know, manual transmission cars are going up in value and are dying. Like, it's just a dying trait. And that's why personally I love it, because it's, I mean, A, it's a theft deterrent. Like, no one really knows how to have a manual transmission unless you're actually in the cars. And on top of that too, it just adds to the thrill factor. Like, anybody can sit behind the wheel and, you know, drive it with an automatic and not really do anything besides press the gas pedal or brake and turn the steering wheel. But, you know, knowing and actually feeling your car, when to shift, when to downshift, what gear you should be in, you know, what exactly, different types of scenarios that you could use for a manual, this is a car to have. And a lot of people will say the same thing about that as well too. Like, it's just, there's nothing like driving a manual car when it comes to cars. But like I said, it's just literally a car you can just go buy, have fun and thrash around, and just basically let your entire family and your kids and everybody enjoy the car just like you do. And that's why personally I love the car. At least, you know, since I haven't driven it yet, obviously. Off paper, I love the car. Alright guys, so I want to give you guys this a little quick little recap of, you know, what I think, what my actual true thoughts are of the 2021 Nissan 400Z. And like I was saying, to me, this has the potential to be a perfect car. The car that you could use to drive to the store, take to the track, have some fun with, take the car shows, car meets, you know, and everything, and just have a blast with it. If honestly, if Nissan stuck to their roots, you know, from the previous I want to say early 1970s Datsun and Fairlady Zs to now. And you know, if it, you know, performance wise, look, exterior design, interior design, I truly believe that this could be the car of the year for 2021, the best car of the year for 2021. And that right there is saying a lot. Now, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, the Supra could be better, blah, blah, blah. And the Supra is better, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, too, the one thing that everybody still wants that Toyota has yet to offer anybody is that manual transmission. Again, if you're a true car enthusiast, usually you want to buy a manual transmission, unless you're using the car for a certain, you know, performance aspect of it, you know, like drag racing, for instance. As we all know, even I'll admit, you know, manuals don't do as well as automatics. That's just honest opinion. That's the truth. But I mean, for every other aspect besides that, you know, for cruising, for, you know, having fun out with the car, a manual is what you need. And that's exactly why I feel like a lot of people have just taken Toyota's customers and made them to Nissan customers. Because again, like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that this car will be offered an automatic. Actually, I haven't seen any info about that whatsoever, so that's why I have the feeling that this car would not be offered an automatic at all. And that's where I think that Toyota really missed the ball at with their Supra / the BMW Z4. But like I said, it's literally a car that will get you your expressions out, your emotions out, and you just want to go for a nice country back road and just have fun with the car. And that's exactly what the Supra is missing. But like I said, guys, literally, like I said, I cannot wait until we have our hands on to actually review it in person and see if it's what I think it's going to be like or if it's a complete flop. Like I said, it could be, I could be completely wrong, and the car could be a total mess. Who knows? I haven't driven it yet, and I'm really excited to drive it and see if I'm actually right about this. And again, this car it excites you. The way it looks, the way it sits, the way the performance feature that you get off of it as well too. For the price range, I mean, I can't think of a better car out there you can really buy to compete with that as of right now, at least. But yeah, guys. So, like I said, thank you for watching our first ever episode on Turbo Time. We will be doing more episodes, you know, sort of getting a feel out there to see if you guys really like doing it. You know, right now I'm sitting in the back of my Volvo. We'll always have a different car we're going to sit in. I'm hoping to get my Camaro back up and running too here. We'll do a couple of episodes in my Camaro, you know, in our Evo, in our Lancer Rally Art, stuff like that. So, like I said, guys, make sure you guys like this video. Smash that subscribe button. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next video. Peace. autocross event right now. As you guys can see, my friend Robert right there got his gorgeous Camaro. My mom hates my Camaro.
Ow! Stop! Man, I'm about to knock you out, boy.
So thanks everyone, we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and hit that bell for notifications.
Yep.
We appreciate you all, we love you all. From the Evolution family, we'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
Peace.